Immigration has always been a cornerstone of America's story. But in 2025, some states are taking a different stance, implementing policies that make it increasingly challenging for immigrants to settle or thrive. These states are tightening the reins, introducing new laws, and heightening enforcement measures aimed at limiting immigrant access. From strict employment restrictions to enhanced policing and anti-sanctuary laws, these policies are reshaping America's immigration landscape. If you're curious which states are the least welcoming to immigrants in 2025 and why, let's dive in. Number 10. Idaho. When most people think of Idaho, they think of its scenic landscapes and endless potato fields. But in recent years, Idaho has taken steps to establish itself as a state with strong immigration control policies. In 2024, Idaho passed a landmark law that empowers local law enforcement to detain undocumented immigrants, placing it among the toughest states for immigration enforcement. The city of Eagle, Idaho, also declared itself a non-sanctuary city, signaling that sanctuary policies have no place in the state. Although only about 5.7% of Idaho's population is made up of immigrants, they play a crucial role in the state's agricultural sector. Many work in jobs that directly support Idaho's agricultural output, including the potato industry the state is so well known for. Supporters of Idaho's stance argue that these measures are essential for ensuring public safety and maintaining the integrity of Idaho's communities. By giving local law enforcement more authority over immigration matters, Idaho proponents believe they are upholding law and order. However, critics argue that these policies could discourage economic growth and create a hostile environment for immigrant communities. They warn that Idaho's approach may reduce labor force participation, potentially impacting the agricultural sector that relies heavily on immigrant labor. Idaho's policies are a clear reflection of the state's conservative values, emphasizing law and order above all else. Just as Idaho protects its prized potato industry, it's also taking steps to guard its borders and tighten immigration control. Number 9. Arkansas. Known as the natural state, Arkansas may appear welcoming with its lush forests and rivers, but when it comes to immigration policies, it's anything but. In 2019, Arkansas made a strong move by cutting off funding to sanctuary cities, establishing itself as one of the least immigrant-friendly states in the country. Governor Asa Hutchinson has been at the forefront of these policies, signaling a firm stance against sanctuary cities and undocumented immigration. Arkansas has a relatively small immigrant population, with about 5.3% of its residents being foreign-born, totaling around 162,000 people out of 3 million. Despite the small numbers, Arkansas's immigrants play a vital role in industries like agriculture, construction, and food processing. The state's strict immigration policies can be seen as a way to protect local resources and jobs, according to supporters who argue that cracking down on sanctuary cities is essential for maintaining order. However, opponents of these policies raise concerns about the economic consequences. They argue that immigrants contribute significantly to the labor force, and without them, Arkansas could face labor shortages, particularly in agricultural jobs that rely on seasonal workers. Arkansas might promote itself as a state rooted in natural beauty, but when it comes to its approach to immigration, it's clear that the state has adopted a tough, protective stance. Number 8. Arizona. Arizona has been a flashpoint in the immigration debate for years, and it all began with the controversial SB 1070 law passed in 2010. Dubbed the Show Me Your Papers law, this legislation allowed police officers to check the immigration status of individuals they suspected might be undocumented, sparking nationwide controversy and debate. Arizona has one of the largest immigrant communities on this list, with around 13.2% of its population being foreign-born, equating to over 900,000 people out of 7.4 million. Many of these immigrants work in industries that are essential to Arizona's economy, such as agriculture, construction, and tourism. Despite this, Arizona has maintained a firm stance on immigration enforcement, targeting undocumented individuals and consistently challenging sanctuary city policies. Supporters of Arizona's strict immigration policies argue that they are necessary to protect jobs for American citizens and to ensure that resources are directed to those who are legally permitted to be in the country. They see laws like SB 1070 as necessary measures for upholding the rule of law and reducing crime. On the other hand, critics argue that Arizona's policies foster a climate of fear and discrimination, especially among the state's Latino community, which comprises nearly a third of Arizona's residents. With Arizona's scorching desert heat and equally heated immigration policies, it's no surprise that the state holds a place on this list. While Arizona remains a popular destination for tourists, its stance on immigration sends a clear message to those hoping to make it their permanent home. Number 7. South Carolina. South Carolina is celebrated for its rich Southern history and charm, but it's also a state that has adopted some of the most restrictive immigration policies in the country. In 2011, South Carolina enacted SB 20, a law that requires law enforcement officers to check the immigration status of individuals during routine stops, echoing Arizona's SB 1070. South Carolina's immigrant population makes up about 5.9% of its 5.2 million residents, totaling around 316,000 people. Immigrants are crucial to the state's economy, particularly in sectors like construction, hospitality, and manufacturing. Despite this, South Carolina has consistently limited immigration protections, making it clear that it's not interested in becoming an immigrant-friendly state. Supporters of South Carolina's approach argue that these policies help maintain public safety and uphold the rule of law. By requiring immigration checks, they believe South Carolina is protecting its communities and preserving jobs for U.S. citizens. However, critics argue that the policies promote racial profiling and create an environment of fear among immigrant communities. South Carolina's reputation as a welcoming southern state doesn't seem to extend to immigrants. For those who are undocumented, South Carolina's approach is as restrictive as they come. Number 6. Tennessee. Known for its musical heritage and vibrant cultural scene, Tennessee has also gained attention for its tough stance on immigration. In July 2024, the state passed SB 2576, a law that mandates immigration status checks by local police during routine stops and arrests. Tennessee's message is clear. The state is serious about enforcing immigration laws at the local level. Immigrants in Tennessee make up 6.1% of the state's population, with around 432,000 people out of a total of 6.9 million. These immigrants play significant roles in sectors like agriculture, construction, and hospitality. Supporters of Tennessee's law argue that these measures help reduce the cost burden associated with undocumented immigration, which they estimate to be around $364 per household annually. However, critics warn that these policies could lead to increased racial profiling, causing fear and anxiety among immigrant communities. They argue that the policies may create an unwelcoming environment that deters immigrants from contributing to the local economy. As Tennessee continues to embrace its strict stance on immigration, its reputation as a friendly southern state is being tested. Tennessee's immigration policies may protect local interests, but they also risk isolating an important segment of the state's workforce. Number 5. Alabama. Sweet home Alabama? Maybe, but not if you're an undocumented immigrant. Alabama has taken some of the most drastic steps to prevent sanctuary cities within its borders. In 2011, the state passed HB 56, a law considered one of the strictest anti-immigration measures in the United States. This law empowers police officers to inquire about a person's immigration status during routine stops, ensuring undocumented immigrants have few protections. Alabama's immigrant population is relatively small, making up only 4% of its 5 million residents, which is around 203,000 people. However, these individuals play essential roles in industries such as agriculture, construction, and manufacturing. Supporters of Alabama's policies argue that they protect jobs and ensure public safety, while critics say they create an environment that is unwelcoming and divisive. Alabama's anti-sanctuary stance is as clear as it gets. The state may be sweet for some, but for immigrants, Alabama's approach sends a strong message that they're not welcome. Number 4. West Virginia. West Virginia, a state famous for its mountains and coal mining, has also joined the list of states with strict immigration policies. In 2022, West Virginia passed a law allowing local authorities to fully enforce federal immigration policies, effectively banning sanctuary cities within its borders. West Virginia's immigrant population is small, with less than 2% of its 1.7 million residents being foreign-born, around 28,000 people. Despite the low numbers, West Virginia's immigrant community contributes significantly to industries like healthcare and construction. Supporters of the anti-sanctuary policy argue that it protects local jobs and public safety. Critics, however, argue that West Virginia's restrictive stance on immigration may discourage immigrants from settling in the state. which already faces an aging workforce and population decline. By limiting immigrant participation, West Virginia may risk exacerbating its labor shortages in critical industries. West Virginia's rugged landscapes may be appealing, but its stance on immigration is anything but welcoming. Number 3. Texas. The Lone Star State is known for its bold personality, and its approach to immigration is no exception. In 2017, Texas passed Senate Bill 4, a law that not only targets sanctuary cities but also compels local law enforcement to cooperate with federal immigration officers. This strict stance makes Texas one of the least immigrant-friendly states. Texas has one of the largest immigrant populations on this list, with around 17.2% of its residents, or 5.1 million people, being foreign-born. Immigrants in Texas are deeply integrated into the economy, supporting sectors such as agriculture, construction, and technology. However, the state's policies make it clear that it values immigration control. Supporters of Senate Bill 4 argue that it improves public safety by reducing crime and protecting jobs, while critics believe the law increases racial profiling and creates a hostile environment for immigrants. Texas is known for its hospitality, but when it comes to immigration, the state plays by its own rules. Number 2. Iowa. Known for its vast cornfields and small-town charm, Iowa may not be the first state that comes to mind when thinking about strict immigration policies. But in recent years, Iowa has positioned itself as a leader in anti-immigration enforcement. The state bans sanctuary cities, reflecting a conservative approach. Approximately 5.9% of Iowa's population, around 189,000 people, are immigrants who contribute to industries such as agriculture and manufacturing. Critics of Iowa's policies argue that the state risks alienating this vital segment of its workforce, which could lead to labor shortages. Iowa's firm stance on immigration may protect local interests, but it also raises questions about the state's long-term economic viability, especially if immigrant communities feel unwelcome. Number 1. Florida. The Sunshine State is known for its beautiful beaches, diverse population, and thriving tourism industry. However, Florida recently adopted one of the toughest immigration laws in the country with Senate Bill 1718 in 2024. This law imposes significant penalties on businesses that hire undocumented workers, signaling a dramatic shift in the state's immigration stance. With over 5 million immigrants in Florida, representing 21% of the state's population, these policies impact a large portion of its residents. Immigrants in Florida are integral to industries such as agriculture, hospitality, and healthcare, making the law especially impactful. Critics argue that Senate Bill 1718 could harm the economy by reducing the availability of immigrant labor, while supporters claim it protects jobs for Florida residents. Florida may be warm and sunny, but for some immigrants, the policies are anything but welcoming. For undocumented individuals, navigating Florida's immigration landscape is becoming increasingly challenging. And there you have it, the top 10 states where immigrants are not allowed in the United States. These states are making bold moves in the immigration debate, and it's clear that this issue will continue to shape the country's future. Whether you support or oppose these policies, one thing is undeniable: their impact on immigrant communities and the broader conversation about immigration in America is profound. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more insights into the ever-changing immigration landscape. Let us know which state surprised you the most, and share your thoughts on the impact of these policies. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.